everyone, this is Garrett, and this is Serious Sam 2, and we are about to do level 17, the Chanolin Chambers.
Say, you wouldn't know where Chan's palace is now, would you? I've been trying to get directions all day. Great! Can you give me a ride? Here. Keep the change.
Well, that was easy. Now, we just have to focus on not accidentally dying here.
Find 2 keys to enter the inner sanctum of the temple. Have a look around. They must be somewhere near.
Now, you can break just about every single object in this level, and usually there's going to be something in it. Unfortunately, most of it is enemies, so I probably will try not to break too much. But the moment we enter this room, all hell breaks loose, really. There's a couple laser guys on each side. There's a couple of these zombie martial artists. I think that's what they were actually called. I finally decided to look it up, but I've already forgotten. And we're just going to take it slow. The start text of the level says that we are going to get a rocket launcher soon, but unfortunately that's not until the next level. But hopefully we can survive until then. Now, as you can see, these guys are like the laser dudes. I feel like they should be continuing further than they are, but they seem to be stuck inside the little thing over there. Not really sure what's going on there, but if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. We're not going to worry about it too much. We're just going to destroy everything that moves. And after doing that, it spawns a key. We're not going to pick that up just yet because there's a heart over there. And that heart is probably one of the worst secrets in the game because it usually takes like a million tries for me to get. But here is a gang. And if you walk into it correctly, which is always a bit of a questionable thing, it should bounce you against this wall and then into the heart. The problem is, it just seems completely random to me, honestly. I've had it work instantly. I've had it take a million tries. There's just no in between. Maybe if we jump in it for a change. We were close. We managed to break the thing it was on, at least, which is a thing that happens. But if you do it correctly, and I actually managed to get on top of that, which I didn't even think was possible, but there you go. If you do it correctly, you either can get stuck up there or you get the heart. I'm probably just going to video edit to the part where it works because this is honestly a bit of a problem. Finally! You can sort of slow yourself down in the air by just holding backwards. And then it's sort of controllable, but it honestly just seems random to me. I don't really know how it works. But eventually you'll get it, and then you'll be good to go. You'll have a whole bunch of bullets, you have a whole bunch of health, and you have a whole bunch of armor. In the previous level, I said the difficulty curve kind of went up for this episode. In this level in particular, I don't really think that's the case if you take it slowly enough. It can get a little bit crazy in some of the later parts of the level, due to the fact that there's quite a large amount of enemies. But usually, there'll be something nearby that'll make the experience a little bit easier. But for now, we're just going to focus on staying back here and just shooting whatever comes towards us. The main thing you want to just focus on is being careful here, honestly. And if you take it slow, then you can usually take care of every enemy one at a time. Maybe a couple higher numbers, but overall, it's not going to be too crazy at the starting bit. The later parts of this level can get a little bit more worrying, but I'm sure we're not going to run into any issues there either. There is actually another enemy type which we haven't actually seen before in this game. It's kind of a returning enemy from the other Serious Sam games, which is the arachnoid. However, in this game, rather than having a chain gun, it actually has some sort of weird green laser gun thing, which makes it considerably less dangerous because you can actually avoid her shots rather than just getting shot continuously by a hit scan weapon. And it kinda honestly makes her a joke. She still doesn't do all that much damage, which was kind of the main issue with the previous games. Like, she didn't really deal that much damage there, but you couldn't actually like actively avoid her shots either. It was just kind of, will it hit or not? That's the question. But there's another 2 on that side as well, but we're just gonna throw a grenade, which immediately starts a cutscene, which wasn't actually intended, but I guess it just starts after a while, after picking up the first key or something. And we're just gonna use these lovely grenades to take care of the remaining ones without any problems right there. Our health's still looking pretty good, and nothing to worry about, honestly. Now, you can shoot these things, but as I said, sometimes there's enemies inside them, and I think if you destroy all of the things in this level, you'll overall find more enemies than actual useful stuff. So I probably won't really worry about it too much. We picked up the second key, and as we move forward, it spawns a whole bunch of the same stuff, really. The main difference is that it doesn't actually spawn the arachnoids. However, it is going to spawn a couple of those red demon rocket dudes, and that's why I'm staying far, far away. You can actually see the shadows of enemies like underneath the platform, which is actually kind of useful because it gives you an idea where enemies are, and that's kind of important with the red dudes because, as we have seen in the past, they deal a large enough amount of damage with their rockets to be feared, and it would be nice to know where they are. We shoot that one down, and one at a time again. As long as you make sure there's something in between the other ones and you can take them all down one at a time. They usually get stunned if you just keep shooting them. You can actually shoot their rockets as well, but it's, in my opinion, a little bit tricky. Like in the previous Serious Sam games, shooting rockets was a lot more viable as a tactic compared to this game, honestly. I always have a lot more trouble with it in this game than I do in really any of the other Serious Sam games, so it's kind of a scary tactic, but it is something you can do if you're feeling brave enough. Now, as we're going in the right direction rather than in that direction, that was a little bit silly, we are just going to pick up some more armor, and actually are completely filled up on health and armor right now, which is fantastic. And first of all, we're going to take care of that guy because he is kind of a jerk waiting for us over there. Most of the enemies on the right, but that one laser dude on the left can do a large amount of damage if you don't take care of him quickly enough. Fortunately, it doesn't actually spawn more on that side, and as we progress, we don't even have to worry about anything that's spawning from behind us, so we can just move on. Now, there is something to worry about here, which is these spikes. And these spikes are a little bit weird. Sometimes they insta-kill you, other times they just push you out of bounds, and you'll just be stuck in, like, the void forever. Because this game is a little bit odd. I'm not sure if this is another frame rate thing, but I've had it happen, like, about 20% of the time while I tried to get hit by these things, so you want to be careful. The thing is, though, they are usually either instant death or the other, so you obviously never want to get hit by them. There's just absolutely no benefit in getting hit by these spikes. And I'm fighting off all these enemies over here because we have a really, really long corridor to take care of these guys. And they come in really large numbers. And while I don't want to get killed by insta-death spikes, I also don't want to get killed by a million clowns, so let's be careful. Another nice thing is that these spikes, you cannot actually shoot through them, and that goes for the enemies as well. So when there's spikes in between you and the enemy, they'll not, like, see you, and they won't try to shoot at you either. And they'll just end up being really close to you at all times, and it's a godsend, honestly. Like, these spikes are the best thing for us compared to for the actual enemies, which is pretty odd, but that's just Serious Sam. It has a lot of oddities, and this is just one of the many. We kill that last laser dude, and this door should open, which can... that door? This is not a door. There is another red dude, but we have grenades. We're just going to shoot it at him and get these points while he gets destroyed by a grenade thrown in his face. And it's nice that you can just keep using grenades in this level. Like, we're still at 26 just because of the sheer number of grenades that you get in this level. Kind of a bit odd, really. And this is, for the most part, really just about the last room. And now, actually, before I'm going to enter this room, I'm going to shoot all those little things hanging on the ceiling. And I'm going to shoot the ones on that side as well. Which should spawn a secret item. For some reason, it instantly says it's collected, which it obviously isn't, but it is really, really good. Because this place can get a little bit crowded, and I'm actually waiting a little bit before picking it up because it'll keep spawning more and more stuff. Eventually it's going to spawn the martial arts zombies as well, and that's roughly when I want to take that damage power up, because I feel like that's when it's just the most useful, really. Because while it lasts 60 seconds, you're probably going to be here a little bit longer than that, And I'd rather not waste the damage power up on enemies that are not actually doing anything to us. And there's the martial arts zombies. You can already hear them on the sides. So we're just going to grab this and easily dispatch of all the enemies which are coming towards us. And more importantly, also take care of these laser dudes in a single shot with a shotgun. That was really my main concern. And even if you pick up the damage power up immediately, you'll still be able to take care of these guys just with that damage power up, which is absolutely great. But obviously, I am playing this game as carefully as possible with as little risks at any point in time. That's why we were at like 10 health in the previous level. And we're just going to try to be safe. We're just going to try not to die. Just keep moving because there's a lot of these martial arts zombies. And they will just keep coming towards you. They will try to do ranged attacks from the top before they actually run to their little area where they jump off. They will all try to jump off the edge over there. Like none of them will try to jump off from the side over here, which makes them a little bit less of a worry. It just means you do have to actually move around because it means they will use more ranged attacks. And we're nearly done here already, actually, which is good. Just about as our damage power-up ends, we end up killing the most of them. Now, arguably, it might be better to get the damage power-up after taking care of this, but I personally think that part is more difficult than the part that's coming up.
Your way out of Chan's game room. Get to it.
Now, all the platforms start moving around, and I'm not actually going to pick up anything just yet, because the moment these platforms start moving around, it's going to spawn a whole bunch of these laser dudes, and I'm actually going to just stand on this side of the wall, because it means that the enemies that are on this side won't be shooting at us, and we can just take care of them one side at a time. And that way, there is absolutely nothing to fear. The shotgun's range is, quite frankly, pretty crazy compared to some of the other weapons in this game, honestly, but it works fantastically for this part. And it makes this part an absolute cakewalk. Now, nearly done here. Just gonna shoot that guy. It's probably gonna spawn one more, if I counted correctly. There we go. And easy peasy. Alright, now we're just gonna grab these. Every time you grab one of these, it's gonna spawn one of those flying dudes who's gonna try and fire a bunch of shots at you. I'm just gonna try to pick them up as quickly as possible while taking care of them at the same time, because one of them doesn't really do a whole lot. You kind of need a lot of them in a room before they really become effective. And honestly, there's not much to be scared of here. There's just really nothing, to be perfectly honest. So we can just take care of these guys. Like, the reason also is that this room is just massive. This room is absolutely gigantic. And it gives you so much room to move around that there's... like, they just can't do anything, obviously. And sometimes you'll see them spinning around just wildly, which looks a bit odd. I think it has something to do with them just getting stuck. And then when they try to just get out of that, they end up hitting a wall or something. And the way the flying mechanics work in this game is that every enemy is effectively a helicopter. Like, that guy's just spinning completely out of control. And what I mean with that, every enemy being a helicopter, is that whenever a helicopter flies into something in this game, it sort of tries to correct itself, because, you know, that's what a helicopter would do when it gets, like, it hits something. And it seems that they use that same, like, thing just on everything, which looks pretty hilarious, honestly. And I'm just gonna stand on this platform as we kill the last enemy, because it means we can immediately leave.
Now get out of the temple.
I can't wait. Enough of the games.
Every now and then, that platform will be lowered, and you'll just end up inside the platform when it spawns. But what you're kind of supposed to do here is actually jump on these platforms, which are now jump pads for some reason, and it's gonna spawn a whole bunch of things. I'm just gonna do it for the sake of it, because this is, like, the way I did it obviously wasn't really intended. And this way we can also actually get a bunch more ammo as well. Also, there's a treasure chest inside that thing, I think. Yeah. The thing is, sometimes this treasure chest spawns in an area you can't actually reach because there's an invisible wall there, which is, quite frankly, ridiculous, but nothing we can really do about it. I think there's actually a rocket dude inside that thing over there. I'm just curious now, actually. Yeah, there is. So, again, you don't really want to be shooting all of these things, but if you want to live the risky life, you might as well just shoot everything. Plus, if you're going for as many points as possible, you might want to shoot everything, but simultaneously, I don't really I honestly don't really know what the best strategy is for getting as many points as possible, because I'm not really sure how much the time bonus comes into play in that regard. And if you want to get a higher time bonus or just more stuff killed, but that's not really my concern for this playthrough. We're just going to fly over here, just grab as much stuff as possible. The further you go forward, the more enemies you will spawn. So the moment you reach this point, it's just going to go and spawn everything at once. And honestly, because this room is so big and because we have so much health right now, like our health and armor is just completely filled up almost, I might as well just spawn everything. It's not really going to be any issue right there. And finally, there's this room. You can skip all of this. Like, you can just go to that door and just leave the level immediately. Or you can pick up all of this stuff right here. The moment you start picking up stuff here, it's actually going to spawn a whole bunch of these martial arts zombies on that side as well. And the same goes for when you try to do the same thing on the other side. I'm not really going to show it off because these guys don't really do a whole lot, honestly. And I'm not sure why there's all this armor and stuff here, because the level actually ends here. And again, health and armor doesn't actually carry over to the next level, so it seems a bit pointless.
Ah, now this brings back some old memories. Now that one was special. Beautiful. Yeah, I remember that one. Crow Team rules. Cool.
Can I have your autograph, please?
Of course.
And it's showing off a whole bunch of pictures. I believe at least one of those was the box art for Serious Sam: The Next Encounter, and the other one I think was the box art for the original Xbox version of Serious Sam 1 and 2, or Serious Sam: The First and Second Encounter, which is a little bit different from the PC version of the game, which might be interesting to play at some point, but they're kind of hard to get. But that's the end of this level, and therefore the end of this video, and the end of level 17. So I hope you enjoyed it so far. The next time we play, we are going to do level 18, which is Chanolin area. I don't really know what it's called, but I'll hope to see you there. Bye-bye.